Loom is one of the best animation apps that no one has heard of. It's a take on animation that I truly have never seen before and takes all of that boring, tedious stuff out of frame-by-frame animation and leaves you with the ability to express pure creativity. Now, full disclosure, it has its limitations and it won't be replacing Adobe Animate in your workflow anytime soon, for reasons that I'll discuss. Nevertheless, I think it has huge potential and it now has a special place in my heart. This is why you should be using Loom. I'm going to show you first how to use the app, then discuss its limitations. Then in a future video, I'll show you how to export your animation to Adobe Animate and After Effects. Once you've got the app open, you can click the button at the top left to create a new artboard. You can hold down this button at the bottom left to change the background color. You can see on the left here, we've got this thread button. If you hold it down, you can change the color of whatever we've got on this thread. Think of a thread like a layer. So now if we draw a little circle here, and then if we swipe down with one of our fingers, it will move to the next thread. And we can keep doing this and add more and more frames. And you can see the dial on the left is rotating every time we swipe down. Now we can use onion skinning here to show and hide the next and previous frame. And if we play the animation, we can see the ball now moves around. So if we hold this button at the bottom left and we press the plus to create a new thread and we drag our old thread into this bin, let's increase our stroke size for this layer using this slider and press the play button. So you can actually draw while the animation is playing and you can see your animation here will start looping automatically. I love how that works. And then you can increase or decrease the stroke size on the fly. You can even move your animation around with a 2-finger touch. Let's pause the animation. So if we hold this button at the bottom left and we drag our thread out to the right and release, it duplicates our thread. Now if we hold down that thread with our left hand, we can move our animation around that's on that thread using a 2-finger touch and drag. So let's move it down a bit and then change the color, like a lighter blue or maybe an orange. And let's just reposition it a bit more. And now you can see both layers move together, except one has a different color. You can also change the blending modes. So we've got additive, multiply. That looks quite cool, doesn't it? And we've got invert. Let's just change it back to the default. You can also add a mask to this thread. So it's only showing the content of this thread where the underlying thread is present. It's the equivalent of a track matte in After Effects. So let's reposition it a bit more, and you can see it kind of creates this 3D effect. Let's add another layer. You can also draw shapes. So we're going to draw a circle here on one of these frames, and let's remove the mask option. Hold the button at the bottom left and drag this thread below the other threads. Let's change the color to a creamy color. And now we're going to keep drawing copies of the circle and then swiping down to move to the next frame. And this is adding a new frame with a slightly different shape each time. So I'll just speed this up for you. Now let's create a new layer and tap this button here to switch between stroke and fill. So we're going to go back to stroke mode and we're going to create some eyes on these little blobs. And then we can swipe down to add a new frame each time, and I'll speed this up for you. Now, something cool we can do is we can duplicate our eye layer as we did before, change the color of this new thread to black, and decrease the stroke size. And then we get little pupils in our eyes. And now we've got a nice looping animation of some little characters. Now, the limitations I mentioned earlier. You can only have 5 threads or layers, and only 24 frames per thread. So Loom's main use right now is to create short and simple looping animations. I don't know whether this limit is in place for technical reasons or by design, but if they ever increase these limits, I think it would help a lot of the complaints that people have about this app. For me, it's the only drawback, but obviously it's a big one. In the next video, I'll show you how to convert your Loom project to Adobe Animate and After Effects so that you can integrate it into your workflow. Before we end, I just want to let you guys know that I have set up a Discord server for animators and designers to chat about everything animation and get feedback on their work from other motion junkies. Come be a part of this new community. I've also set up a Patreon for anyone who wants to support my work, but this is completely optional of course. There will be a link in the description where you can see the benefits. I hope this video was useful guys, let me know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe for more videos, like the video and hit the bell for notifications of new uploads. And as always, see you on the flippity flop.